Jess, let me spin you a yarn
Okay.
about a day in my life when I was 5 years old.
All right.
It was a Saturday afternoon.
Okay.
My mom and my stepdad had just come back from Walmart, and they brought with them a Nintendo Entertainment System.
Okay.
For no reason. I didn't know what this was. I didn't ask for it. But they brought one home anyway. And as a matter of fact, I thought it was a VCR. Because we had a VCR and it looked similar enough.
Well, like opening at the front. I could see that for
Right.
a 5-year-old's eyes.
So my stepdad hooks this thing up, and he hands me the game cartridge, which I thought was a movie.
Uh-huh.
So we put the game cartridge in, hit the power button, and I've got two options. I can hunt ducks, or I can figure out what Super Mario Brothers is all about.
Okay.
So I thought, well, I already know what hunting ducks is, so let's find out what Super Mario Brothers has in store for me.
Very complex thought for a 5-year-old.
And immediately, I figure out you move left to right. There are things you can jump on, things you can collect. There's boxes you can hit to get coins and mushrooms and flowers. And eventually, you make your way to a flagpole and you move on. Then you're in the sewers. Same situation. You got things you can jump on. You got coins you can collect. And you move on from there until finally you come to a castle.
Okay.
More of the same. Make your way from the left to the right. But at the end of the castle, there's this giant lizard turtle man on a bridge, jumping around, shooting flames at you. And I know I've got to get on the other side of this guy. So I time it just right. When he jumped, I went underneath him, got to the other side of the bridge. The bridge collapses. He falls in the lava. And then I come across a being after that tells me that the princess is in another castle.
This is riveting.
So I am trying my best with my 5-year-old brain to make sense of this story, right? What is going on here?
Okay.
What is the point? What is my point in this universe? What am I doing? So the only logical conclusion that I could come up with is that Mario and Luigi are brothers, right? They're the Super Mario Brothers, but they're not biological brothers. They're adopted brothers, and they must be from New York City. And they stumble across some kind of a portal, okay? Because 65 million years ago, a meteor hit the Earth.
Yeah.
But instead of killing everything on the Earth, it split our Earth into two dimensions.
Yeah.
One dimension where everyone evolves from humans, and another dimension where everyone evolves from lizards.
Okay.
And there's a princess that this Koopa needs because she has a piece of that meteorite around her neck. But before he can do that, he has to turn her father into fungus so that he can become the ruler of the world. He could take the place of the king. So after he kidnaps her and gets her meteorite piece, he could put it into the meteor that hit the Earth and then merge our worlds back together so that he could eliminate the human race and lizards can live on peacefully.
Your 5-year-old brain was amazing. They should have made a movie about
That was the only conclusion that I could have drawn
That's amazing.
from this story about this video game that I was playing. And luckily, you're right. There is a movie that explains all of this and validates what I thought.
For rights?
I should have.
Yeah.
I should have, but I was a little too young. Did I get that right? I mean, that's spot on, right?
More or less.
Okay.
Welcome to our show about pop culture stuff. We keep watching and connected, but it's never enough. Talking with our friends about our favorite things. TV shows and movies and some random swearing. This is the pretty, this is the little, this is the pretty little podcast.
Hello, all you pretty little people. This is the Pretty Little Podcast. I'm your host, Deadbeat Chad. With me is just Jess.
Yep, it's me.
And today we've got a doozy because this has missed the mark every step of the way as far as an adaptation goes.
Yeah, but I don't care. I love this movie.
Yeah, and
I don't
before we
fucking
get too
care.
deep into it, this isn't. I'm not going to shit all over this movie because I also enjoy this movie.
Oh, shit all you want. I will be there defending the fun of it. So I don't care.
in its own strange way, it is a very fun film. And it really is taking a lot of liberties here and there, doing its own thing. I don't fucking
care. It's cool.
Also, this was the first, like, movie to be adapted from a video game.
Right, yeah. The Super Mario Brothers movie is what we're talking about. The 1993 one, not the more recent ones, because I don't care about those. And this one is a science fantasy adventure comedy film based on Nintendo's Mario franchise. It was the first American feature-length live-action film based on a video game.
So, being the first at something is not the easiest thing to pull off.
No, but also, I mean, you do research on this movie and the making of it and all of that. Nintendo didn't give a shit. They were not threatened by this. They didn't. No. So it's not like Nintendo, they didn't even send anyone to the set. They were just like, yeah, sure, do what you want, whatever. So, you know, when you're given that much liberty and you want to do something fucking weird, I know the making of this movie was a nightmare. I know a lot of the people involved with this movie said it was like the worst thing they ever did.
Right.
All I know is this came out in 93. I was 9 and I had grown up on weird, dark fantasy movies. And unlike baby Chad over there, I was not sitting there wondering any fucking thing about Mario Brothers. I played the game. I had the NES. I didn't fucking care. I didn't care that it was different. I was little and this was weird and fun. And that's all I cared about.
Yeah, so the whole reason why Nintendo said yes to this thing is because they thought that the Mario brand was so strong that no matter what they did, no matter how bad it was not going to ruin the reputation of Nintendo.
Yes.
Yeah, 100% correct.
They were correct.
Here we are now, 35 years later?
It's been a minute, yeah.
Mario is just as popular now as he was then, but
arguably more, far more.
Yeah, I would say more kids today know who Mario is than Ronald McDonald or Mickey Mouse
or Jesus.
It's Mario is pretty popular.
Yeah, sure. There's also been decades of growth and story development over the course of many consoles, many games, and all of that. Keep in mind, we had Mario 2 was out? Was Mario 3 out? In 93?
Oh, yeah.
You're Mario, the date person.
Mario 3 came out in like 89, okay, 88, something like that.
I don't know. I was little and things happened. I don't know. I don't keep you straight.
By this point, by the time this movie came out, Super Mario World was out.
Oh, it would have to be because of Yoshi.
Yes.
Ha ha ha. I'm the smart one.
So they had many, many different games to draw inspiration from. And honestly, I think they should have just went with the more recent game, the Super Mario World plot.
I really think if they had done that, no one would be talking about this movie anymore. It would have been a footnote. As it is, was it kind of a disaster in a lot of ways? Yeah. But people are still fucking talking about, and people are passionate about. I'm passionate about this movie. But there's two sides. People are passionately like, oh, it's the worst piece of shit that ever was. And then you've got, I will forever be a defender.
Well, growing up, I mean, this movie was well known to be terrible.
Yeah.
And over time, it kind of found its audience. People that hated it either continued to hate it or they let it grow on them. I think
that's because those are the people that were older than I was and went in expecting, I guess, closer
Super Mario Brothers?
But I don't fucking, look.
A weird Blade Runner dystopian type.
That's amazing! And there has to be a segment later on where we talk about Best Boy. I'm not just going to one-off him right here. But no, the way I look at this, before we really get into it, the way I look at it, okay, Chad, cover songs. You are a fan of cover songs.
Yes.
What's your criteria for a good cover song?
A good cover song needs to, in my opinion, like, I need to like it more than the original.
Okay, but what makes it good?
When a band can take a well-known song, turn it into something that is completely theirs.
Okay.
And
do you see
make it more enjoyable than the original.
Okay. Do you see where I'm going with this?
No, I see where you're going. I saw your face.
I had that thought when we were watching the movie and I was like, I want to say something, but I got to wait for the podcast.
This is
totally different. But I love it. So what?
I put this movie... The only other movie off the top of my head that I can really compare this to realistically is Masters of the Universe. They're very similar because Masters of the Universe completely missed the He-Man mark as well. It takes place in New York City for whatever reason because they didn't. It was cheaper just to film on an actual location than it was to build,
which they did for this, by the way.
A whole new world for these people to be in.
Right.
So I understand why they needed to take this idea of that Mario and Luigi exist in the world. I mean, by this point that the cartoon series was out, that had live action elements to it as well.
Yeah.
They had already well established that Mario and Luigi were plumbers.
Yeah.
That explains all the pipes that they're dealing with in the game. Fine, it's loose, but whatever.
Okay, but my problem with that is everything to do with the Mario Brothers universe is fucking ridiculous to begin with. None of this shit goes together and makes sense. So who cares?
For all that it, like, why they went the plumber route, I don't know, because
Plumbers
the
and
character,
mushrooms and dragons and princesses.
Well, the character of Mario himself was like based on a landlord.
Yeah, I know.
So,
he's just like a schlubby Italian guy.
Yes,
he's not a superhero.
But how well could they have adapted? I mean, without it being animated?
Well, because I think the problem is when they made the first game, I think it's most likely they were just making things that looked fun and didn't think about, from a narrative perspective, how does this all tie together? Because a lot of games weren't like that back then. It was simpler, and at least for me as a kid, I didn't question all the weird shit going on in video games. You just did it and you enjoyed it, and that was where that ended.
Yeah, because I mean, cartoons in the 80s and early 90s were wacky as shit too.
I was formed by weirdness. Like, what do you expect?
I get that.
I didn't bat an eye at this.
It was a distraction, right? You put a controller in your hand, you control a little man on the screen, you jump around, you get from point A to point B until you're done, and then you go outside and play.
Yeah.
So I understand, like, the relevance in the history of the video game. I don't understand the adaptation aspect of this movie.
Well, I think...
Because this is Super Mario Brothers in name only.
No, untrue.
Okay, you're going to get into all the fucking ins and outs of how this actually works as an adaptation, and I disagree.
No, there are tons of elements.
Just because they put references on a poster or in the background. The mushrooms
played a role.
Or one of the characters happens to have a similar name to a character in the games. That's not a faithful adaptation.
There's lots of similarities. I think they subverted all of them really in a really funny way. I think it's really cool. I don't know what to tell you.
Don't get me wrong. Like this movie, it's so odd that I even enjoy this thing. I don't know why I do.
Well, I always like Bob Hoskins. I tend to like John Leguizamo. Dennis Hopper as a villain is always enjoyable. There's a lot of elements here, and there's fun creatures. There's puppet work from Best Boy, who is Toad, to Yoshi, the animatronic, and all of the effort that went into building this world. They turned an entire cement plant. Like, they built.
Oh yeah, there was a shitload of time and effort and money put into this production in real life,
like layers and all of that.
It's just odd to me that after all that time and effort and money, this is the adaptation.
I think it's fucking awesome.
I mean, it's incredible to me that they actually made something that is so off base.
It's a cover song of Mario Brothers. They made it their own.
They definitely did.
And I'll tell you what, I don't give a shit about the 2023 animated movie. Is it more faithful? Yes, it was also made decades after, so again, there's a lot of lore in place. But come on, man, did you actually enjoy the animated one?
The cartoon? Yeah.
The 2023 one with like Chris Pratt and Jack Black and all of that. I thought it was fucking boring,
I'm at an age where, like, I don't mind playing the games, but as far as, like, buying merchandise and movies and shit, like, it just doesn't
want to go to
me.
Nintendon't, though.
I enjoyed it about probably as much as I would the newest Ninja Turtles movie. These are properties that are decades old at this point.
I wasn't the demographic for the 2023 movie, but all I'm saying, and I'm not saying one is better than the other, they're two extremely different takes,
Right. And
on
even
elements of
even
that
that
world.
newer movie was not completely faithful. I mean, it was far more faithful than the movie we're talking about, but it still had its problems.
It was boring to me, man.
For me, I think the newer movie, my biggest problem was the voice acting.
Well, don't get me started on voice actors.
I think the voice
Hollywood
actors
celebrities.
that they chose
Again,
for these roles were not
huge
good.
anime nerd. Voice actors are fucking important. Huge cartoon nerd. Voice actors and celebrities are not the fucking same.
No, they're not.
It is a skill set.
I am definitely in that camp that wishes that celebrities were not taking jobs away from voice actors because there's, like you said, there is a big difference.
It is.
You can be an actor
needed.
and make a character sound flat as hell. And that movie had a lot of flat characters in it.
Yeah.
And
it's not like everybody
I think
was
Jack Black as Bowser was great.
Yeah, but
I don't think Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong was good.
Okay, but at the same time, Seth Rogen told them, I don't do voice acting. I will take this paycheck, but I'm just going to talk. Like, you just need to know to expect
But if I were involved in the production of that movie, I would have been like, thank you, Mr. Rogen. We're going to move on.
And he'd be like, okay, cool, bye.
Yeah, there's no reason. His star power was not getting... Look, the whole star power for that movie was Mario.
Yeah.
Celebrities aren't getting asses in the seats. The Mario franchise was getting asses in the seats.
People, I mean, obviously Jack Black as Bowser did, and the song and all of that shit, did bring something. But yes, people are going to see Mario and Luigi and Peach and Toad and Bowser more than Chris Pratt and although I do like Charlie Day just as an actor.
And now to pivot a little bit back to the movie that we're actually talking about.
Yeah, I'm just saying that was
the casting here was good.
Yeah.
I think John Leguizamo as Luigi was, I mean, who else at the time?
He was wonderful. He was great. I thought he was good.
Bob Hoskins as Mario.
Perfect. Great casting for a British man.
Dennis Hopper. I mean, for all his weirdness, casting. I mean,
his little
he rolled
T-Rex
with
hands.
It. So yes, there are far better casting choices in this movie than the newer one. But let's kind of dive into the point of this film. Okay. The plot of this thing, if you will.
If I will. I'll consider it.
Like I had mentioned earlier, a meteor 65 million years ago hits the
I don't
Earth.
hate that idea.
This is like this is an alternate history
that
thing.
We know of.
Right. So instead of killing the dinosaurs, it splits our dimensions in two. Like I said, one dimension is ours where we evolve from primates. Mm-hmm. The other dimension is the Koopa world that evolves from lizards and dinosaurs.
Dinotopia or whatever.
Dino Hatton.
Dino Hatton.
Was the name of the
city. Yeah. Because Manhattan, you see?
Yes.
You get the joke?
Yeah, I get it. And they really wanted me to get it.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you did then.
So the Koopaverse is what I'm going to call that. King Koopa, played by Dennis Hopper.
Yeah.
He takes over that dimension by turning the princess's father into fungus.
Yes.
Much like in Mario 3, right? Where the kings are all turned into weird shit.
De-evolution. Yes, and thank you. You're making my point for me, like in Mario 3.
I get that there are references to the games.
He has a de-evolution chamber and gun and stuff like that forces them to de-evolve, and the further back they go, the more simple they become, aka fungus.
Right. So the king of his realm is now turned into fungus.
Yeah.
I guess at the beginning of the movie, Daisy's mother. So I don't know if she's the queen or if she is just
I would assume
somebody. So. Was that her mother at all?
Yes.
It was
the same actress.
Because she was
that's her mother.
Samantha Mathis.
Yeah, she escaped into our reality with Daisy still in the egg. And
yes, Daisy is hatched
a
from an egg
or
in
something.
This adaptation movie.
Yeah, I do like that the nuns don't bat an eye at that shit. They're just like, oh, okay, there's the baby.
With the egg is the piece of the meteor.
Right.
That hit the Earth.
It stabilizes the connection between them and allows like the dimensions to merge.
Right.
But it has to be full. It's like the dark crystal. There's a piece of it missing.
I was wondering if you were going to come to that conclusion because the dark crystal was definitely an influence in this movie as well.
Which is my favorite movie of all time.
So yeah, she is dropped off at a church. She's brought in by nuns.
Yeah. And hatches.
In egg form and hatches in front of them. And none of them think this is fucking weird.
No.
They just accept that baby came out of an egg.
Yes.
And they raise her.
Uh-huh.
And she becomes an archaeologist.
Yes. Because she feels comfortable around dinosaur bones, even though she doesn't really understand why. There's something that draws her to it.
And the older version of her now has that piece of the meteorite on a necklace.
Yeah, they kept it. It was the only thing from her mother. They gave it to her, and she's had it this whole time. She wears it around her neck.
So she's got like an archaeological site that she's digging for bones, artifacts, what have you. And she's being harassed.
Scapelli.
Yeah, by the Scapelli Corporation.
Yeah, they're plumbers
who is a thorn in the side of the Mario Brothers because they are plumbers.
They are rival plumbers.
They live in New York. They're kind of destitute. You know, they're hopping from job to job trying to pay the bills.
The Mario Brothers?
Yes.
Okay.
They're late on their rent and they get a call to go to a job. And when they get there, the Scapelli Plumbing Corporation.
They got there first.
Right. Which... that always bothered me. And I mentioned this when we watched it because what did this client do? Call 2 different plumbers and whoever the fuck shows up first gets the job?
I think Scapelli had the line tapped. I think Scapelli's trying to push him out of business because there's very clearly a mob connection.
There is no plumber that existed then or now that is going to come out to a job, find out you gave it away and not charge you for coming out there.
Strange nitpick.
Anyway. They lose the job. So this Scapelli Corporation is causing a big problem, right? They want the archaeologists to get through with their digging because they're building...
Because Scapelli's the ones who found the bones. They were doing some plumbing work down there, and there's a big site. And the bones are weird, right? They're like monsters. They're not any species
right. They're almost human-like.
Right. Because it's close
appearance.
To the meteor, obviously. We know that now, you know. So
this is clearly the inhabitants of Koopa, the Koopaverse. It's their bones that are now in our dimension.
Or some in between. Maybe someone leaked through. But also at the same time, I do need it mentioned that girls are going missing in Manhattan. They're being kidnapped and they're just disappearing and we don't know why.
Because King Koopa has sent Iggy and Spike, his 2 dumbass henchmen, into our world to kidnap Daisy.
They're trying to find the
and they keep kidnapping the wrong woman.
Yes.
So that's what
wrong princess, including Mario's girlfriend. So, so that is also going on.
Princess is in another archaeological site.
Your princess is in another dimension.
So, anyways, the Scapelli Corporation tells Daisy that she has until the following morning to be done, or they're going to harm her in some way. They insinuate that some harm is going to come to her.
Well, like I said, it's very mobbish.
Yes, they act like the mob for sure.
Yeah.
So that night, she goes to use a payphone to call the university
for security.
To have more security come down because she's being strong armed by these mob people that are threatening to harm her if she doesn't hurry the hell up.
Right.
And while she's using the payphone, Mario and Luigi are broken down next to the payphone, trying to fix their van or whatever. And Luigi sees Daisy, and he's just immediately in love with her.
Yeah, sure.
So he invites her to dinner that night.
With Mario's help.
Yeah.
It's cute.
With Mario
supportive
and
brother.
His girlfriend.
Yeah, Mario's got all the riz, and Luigi's just like fumbling. So he helps him.
So they go out to dinner. Luigi walks Daisy home, but they stop at the archaeological site because she wants to show him what she does for a living.
He's interested in what she likes. And good boy. Thank you for showing interest in what she likes.
When they get down into the site, the Scapellis are there fucking with things, and they try to flood the site. I don't know why.
Well, to sabotage it.
How does that sabotage anything? That would just make the process longer. Now they got to come out. They got to drain water. They got to.
I think they were hoping it would just ruin the stuff to the point where
it makes about as much sense as this adaptation does in general. But anyways, so they flood the site. Luigi and Daisy go get Mario to come and stop the leak.
He is a better plumber.
And while they're down there, Daisy gets kidnapped by Spike and Iggy, and they disappear into the portal.
Yeah, it just looks like a wall.
It's like a wall with a portal in it that has some very, very old special effects.
They did their best.
They jump through the portal after Daisy to go get her, and now they are in Dino Hatton.
Yeah. A land of mushrooms and bombs and bullet bills.
And fire.
And Big Bertha's there. You know, the fish in Mario 3 that jumps up and eats you?
Yeah.
Yeah. She got big old boobies in this one, though.
She is an interesting character for sure. She is a mommy steppy character for sure.
Feel that way. No,
this woman is a fetish.
Hey, she's a strong lady. But yeah, there's like nightclubs. There's all kinds of things.
Very inappropriate for a kid's movie. Outfits. The whole city seems to be an outdoor nightclub, but there's indoor nightclubs too. Like this whole thing just looks like... I watched all
kinds of things growing up that were far worse than this. This is a perfectly fine kids movie as far as I'm concerned.
Sure. I mean, it's all going to go over their head anyway.
It's not Bluey.
No,
but it's interesting. It's not inappropriate. But
really. Like the entire...
There's no nudity or cursing, really.
The entire set of Dino Hatton it has a club vibe from that time. It's
fucking cool.
It looks like an industrial club.
And then they have like the electric cars that are almost like, you know, like bumper cars. They've got the things that go up to the top.
Right, because in this world, fossil fuels are not used.
Oh, well, and
everything is electric.
Dude, that's a great attention to detail.
As a
Obviously,
kid, I didn't notice.
I didn't notice either. But of course they don't have fossil fuels. They are the fossil fuels come from dinosaurs,
right?
And shit.
Anyways, I thought that was a good touch.
Yeah, it is a good touch.
Mario and Luigi, in the process of trying to find Daisy, they wind up getting arrested with Mojo Nixon.
Hell yeah, R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. Mojo Nixon.
He is great. Who was a great source of information as to what the fuck this is, what's going on. You know, little backstory boy with amazing haircut.
So he plays Toad.
He does.
It's a very loose
you be quiet.
adaptation of this character. He's for one thing, he's a human. I don't know why he isn't a dinosaur. Why is he a human?
Well, no, a lot of them are dino in one way or another. Some more than others. I would assume his feature. I don't know what's under there. I'm just saying. There's all different, because some are in like full on makeup with scales and all kinds of stuff. Then you've got people like Koopa, who, I mean, his hair is kind of like a fin of a dinosaur, kind of.
Sure.
But then his tongue is bleh, but only like once.
Well, and you have and
it's more like mannerisms.
People are pushing around strollers with eggs in them.
Yeah, there's little things. Some people have tails.
Right. But
it's pretty.
There's an awful lot of humans in this world than there are dinosaur people in ours.
Well,
I guess that's my biggest complaint here. Is if humans exist there in some capacity, why wouldn't...
That maybe people have come down here before. I mean, but there's clearly been some kind of crossover in the past just because of the weird fossils on our side. So who's to say? Also, Dino Hatton is the one city on this entire planet full of bullshit. It's nothing but sand.
Right. So, they don't ever get out of this city.
Well, yeah, they end up in the desert briefly, but yeah, Koopa has a globe at one point that shows Dino Hatton, like the city at the top, because he spins it and he's complaining about how everything else in the fucking world over there is sand.
Right.
It's dead. That's why he wants to go through and
because he's a germaphobe.
People. He is that too. Although he does like mud.
Yeah, because it's clean and dirty at the same time. So, yeah. King Koopa is, like I said, he's a germaphobe. He hates the city he's living in. That's why he wants to merge the world so that he can kill off the humans and he can...
I do think he genuinely wants his people to get through too, but it is about him at the end of the day.
Right. I don't think he has any thought in his head about treating other people well.
I understand the wanting to merge the dimensions because ultimately... there's no future there. Like they can't ever grow or spread or anything. Ultimately, they'll either population density will be too great and there will be societal collapse and no food because it's only one city on the whole fucking planet. Yeah. And then it would turn to death and destruction and, So I understand wanting to get out of this place that fucking sucks because it just is happenstance that you even ended up there versus over here.
Sure. So and I will say that like littered throughout the city. I mean, there's Easter eggs, there's references to the games. I mean, there's posters with characters' names on it. There are products that have, characters on them.
Yeah.
There are buildings that they kind of look like the thwomps. They've got the little spikes on the sides of them.
There's like a business called
So
Thwomp.
yeah, I mean, I get that they really did try.
I know. I think they did it in a funny way.
Here.
A lot of it is just little things.
Yeah. So it's gonna get real exhausting real quick trying to, run down the plot of this entire movie.
We don't have to, but you stopped just before the best part in the entire movie.
Right, and we're getting there because that's one of the first things that happens once they get to this place. Because again, Mario and Luigi, they've been arrested.
Yeah.
Why, I don't know.
Well, that is where you find out their names, which people take issue with, but it makes sense to me. What the fuck else would it be? They're the Super Mario Brothers. So,
yeah, I mean, it does make sense.
Mario, and Luigi Mario.
Yeah.
Is it stupid? Yeah, but logically, yeah, that would be their names.
Toad gets taken away by Koopa to put him in the de-evolution chamber, which again you're treated to more.
I love the effects.
Wonderful special effects of his face warping,
the stretching and warping.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
It's very of the time. Does it hold up? No, but shut up.
Well, and when we watched it, I mentioned when Mario goes through the portal and he's like falling Alice in Wonderland style.
Yeah,
that entire thing looks like a screensaver.
Yeah.
Like a Windows 95 screensaver or something.
But this was in 93, so it was ahead of its time.
Sure. It almost kind of looks like, the Spawn movie when Spawn goes to hell.
I don't think there's any reason to bring that into this.
It's very similar.
Even if John Leguizamo was in both.
It's a lot happening. It's a lot of effects, overlapping other effects. And on Blu-ray, it looks...
They did not know Blu-ray was ever going to be a thing, man.
No, it's very bad.
It's not great. But
they
I get it.
De-evolve Toad. Why he doesn't turn into a mushroom, I don't know.
Because he was made to be one of my favorite things in all of media.
But he de-evolves into a Goomba. And the Goombas in this movie...
His face! I love his smile. Oh,
they look like...
They kind of look like the shrunken head guy from Beetlejuice a little bit, like the big body and the teeny head.
Yes, if he was in a German SS outfit.
Sure, well, it's
straight
military.
Out of Nazi Germany.
No, I don't think so. It's just a military outfit.
Right, but it definitely
it's not intentionally SS, I don't think. They're all it's the wrong colors. There's no insignia, but yes,
it still looks very Nazi-ish.
I have never had that.
Maybe
thought.
Russian.
That makes more sense. But just a classic, wool coat military outfit on these guys. Very broad shoulders, because all the bodies are the same, but the heads are different.
Right.
And some of them are more like pointy.
The Goombas in this
heads.
Also, because I always assumed, at least in the games, that Goombas are just like sentient mushrooms. They're like mushroom people.
I guess I never really thought
they've got
about
little
them,
mushroom heads. They've got little mushroom
but...
bodies and little tiny feet that
and
move back
and forth.
Yeah, so in this movie, they decided that the Goomba faces are going to be scaly and look like lizards and have sharp teeth. They look like little...
I love him so much.
They do look like little dinosaur
He is unbridled joy.
And some of them have the Goomba-esque shape, and then some of them kind of look like the...
little pointy dinosaur guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They look more pointy.
Like almost like an Anole lizard type.
Kind of like a pterodactyl in a way.
Yeah.
So there's no consistency there either.
No, but I'd argue that not all people look alike. So when they de-evolve, it would be wherever their family line de-evolved or evolved from. It's a return to that. So there would be differences.
Yeah, I suppose.
Am I stretching? Yes. But but it works, so we're gonna go with it.
And
it
also
gave me Toad.
Also in this jail, they find out that the women that were being kidnapped in Manhattan are now also being held captive in this prison. One of which is Mario's girlfriend.
She but they're kept in a nicer place and watched over by Koopa's girlfriend.
And they're given cigarettes because one of them is constantly smoking.
I would have been too. I mean, where the fuck am I? What is anything?
One of them is in her like workout leotard.
Well, they were taken at different times. They were given changes of clothes.
Yes, this movie is very 90s.
Yeah, because then you've got Koopa's girlfriend who, she's. I don't know I can't remember the actress's name, but she was Harry Potter's aunt.
Yes, she was in the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah. Fiona Shaw is her name. And she does not like Princess Daisy.
Her get up in this movie is...
It's amazing.
It so fits the Dino Hatton aesthetic, but also looks so out of time because her... get up kind of looks like what a art collector woman would have looked like in 1985.
Yes, what I was thinking is what's her name? Dietz in the mom, Catherine O'Hara.
In Beetlejuice, yeah. She does look like she would fit right in with
style. Delia.
Okay.
I always want to say
she
Lydia,
looks like one of Delia's friends
that's
from Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's very, very, very tight outfit, very big hair.
Extremely big, Bride of Frankenstein style.
Right. And, Fiona Shaw, she is another one of those statuesque women. Yeah. Kind of like an Angelica Houston.
Sure.
She's very tall, very lanky, very stoic, very
long neck.
Angular.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she is... Honestly, I think she's one of my favorite characters in this movie because there's no reason for her to be here.
Well, she's very extra, right? And she has her quirks too. She gets irritated and she
what is her role here?
Face,
because she's there for his gopher.
No, I think they're together.
They don't ever even hint at the fact that they are in a relationship.
I tend to think they are, though. She's at his side all the time. She's in the mud bath with him.
If so, she is there under duress because she does not look comfortable around him.
No, I think she likes the power. And eventually she tries to take it for herself. I think, and she sees Daisy as a challenge to her.
My original thought, and it was immediately squashed once I realized that Daisy's mom early in the movie was played by the same actress that plays Daisy.
Right.
So my original thought was that she was the queen, and because the king was out of commission, now Koopa has taken his place. And she's just there under duress.
I think she is his right-hand person. And I do think they are together.
He never makes her do tasks. It's not even like a secretary.
All the more
type
reason
situation.
For her to be the girlfriend. And she's challenged by Daisy.
I think he just feels like he needs a female companion there.
I don't know what he thinks.
It's weird. It's very strange. Her character is so out of place.
She's in the mud bath with him.
Yeah.
She does not like that he finds Daisy attractive, and he's gross toward her. Ugh.
And now they're in this...
You're so clean and fresh.
They're in this mud bath fully clothed.
Well, decorum. But no, I mean, the girls are trapped. Daisy's there too. He tells her to, go get her. So she brings her into another chamber, gets her clothes changed and everything. And that's where we meet Yoshi, who, again, I think is really well done.
But again,
he's great.
At the same time, it looks like
I want one.
It looks like she's getting Daisy all dolled up to be
to be presented to him. Because again, remember, he's a germaphobe. And she was in archaeological clothes. But again, it's weird that she went out to dinner in those
it's
clothes.
Got this weird undertone to it. Because
it does, which is why she's so angry about it.
Fiona Shaw's character is jealous of Daisy. So why would she be jealous of Daisy if her and Cooper were already together?
Because it's clear that this is the one he's really been waiting for, and I can see myself being fucking replaced by this newer, younger bitch because she's got the meteorite and she's the princess. Never mind everything that I have gone through to help him get where he is.
Just take the meteorite piece.
She tries!
Why does she have to be dolled up and presented to him
because as if he's a germaphobe?
As if this is his new woman of the night.
And I think she sees that coming as a possibility and doesn't like it.
It's weird.
She does what he says, but she doesn't like it.
Look, as much as I like Fiona Shaw in this movie, because I do think that she is, it's very odd.
Her name is Lena, by the way.
Lena.
In this movie. Yeah.
She's very out of place in this movie, and she turned out to be one of my favorite parts of the movie because of that.
I will say in the wiki, she is referred to as his jealous girlfriend.
Okay, I mean, Wikipedia would know better than me.
I'm just explaining to you exactly how she's his girlfriend and why her behavior makes sense.
But it's just strange to me that they don't ever, like, they don't hold hands, they don't hug, they don't kiss.
He's a germaphobe and a fucking
then why would he want a girlfriend?
Because that's what you need one. What are you talking about? Dictators have someone by their side. People in power are supposed to be with someone. It's about optics. Because he became a dictator, but he technically is President Koopa. He got people to vote for him. And then turn the king into fungus and all that shit.
Okay, so he didn't turn the king into fungus and then just take his place.
No. I know that there are President Koopa.
I know there are like
and there's election posters and
election.
Shit.
Yes, election posters are all over the city for Koopa.
Right.
I understand that, but I thought that was like a re-election
thing. To be clear,
thing.
I'm not sure if he was elected and then turned the king into fungus, or if he turned the king into fungus, no one knew it was him that did that, and then they had to hold an election and he won that. I don't know. They don't really go into it.
I think he was just going through the motions, right? He knew they were going to vote for him because if they didn't, he was going to kill them.
Yes.
But he still wanted to go through the song and dance of, well, we got to have I need my face on posters. Yeah. I need my face all over this city.
Well, plus it's a power play too.
Right. Exactly. That is
everywhere you go, you see his face.
That is definitely a dictator.
It's a dictator thing. Yes.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
So let's go ahead and shift a little here, and I'm going to let you talk a little bit about your favorite character in this movie.
Toad, he's wonderful. He's such a good boy.
Why is he your favorite? Simply because of his face? It's only because of his face.
No, it is not. It is because, okay, as a human, or whatever, as a dino person, he's genuinely helpful. He is a street musician, which is arguably cool. He's against Koopa. He gives Mario and Luigi very sound advice and kind of a grounding in where they are, what has happened. So he gives them what they need to move forward. And then, even after he's de-evolved, he does fall into line, but he is constantly helping behind the scenes in quiet little ways. He, in many, many ways, even when he gets his harmonica, he goes and fucking finds steamed vegetables for Daisy because she's a fucking vegetarian, and then she just runs right past him and it's thrown on the ground, and the disrespect is like next level, and goddamn it.
Yeah, that was sad.
It shows that he's like, yay, here, I got this.
He was so happy, and then
you dropped the vegetable. That's okay, I'll get it. And she's like running past him, and I'm like, oh my God.
I mean, he made his choice.
He did what he was asked to do. And after he's de-evolved, he doesn't say a word, but he doesn't have to.
Yeah, it's all in his facial mannerisms.
There's something about his face. It is in my top 10 favorite things of all time. Just things, not even movies, just things. Toad's face is very up there. It's very good. There's just his tiny little eyes and his big smile and his teeny little sharp teeth and everything.
Yeah.
He is just pure unbridled joy and willing to help. And I like that he's not wacky. He's not loud. He is just quietly helping all throughout the movie. And the people who are running and shouting and saving the day would have failed several times if not for Toad. And in any other Mario thing, I don't give a shit about Toad.
Yeah.
Mario Kart, the games, Mario Party, no.
Yeah, me too.
That hashtag not my Toad. But this guy, this weird, tall, quiet, happy, helpful boy, I love him dearly.
You're not alone. I think that there's something to this character.
That's the thing I can't quite explain.
A lot of people have.
Why I love his face so much, but I do. There's some psychology to it.
They're bound to have made like a recent figure of this thing, a statue, something. If so, I will buy it and we can have it on the shelf.
I love him so much.
Yeah, there is something to this character that is just very appealing.
He gets a harmonica,
even though it.
On his thing.
he looks.
You better watch your mouth, Chad.
I'm sorry. I just can't. I can't get behind the choices that they made for some of these characters.
Is he a Goomba? No. Do I give a shit? Also, no. Because look at him. He's wonderful.
So at some point in this film, when they're in, it's shortly after they break out of jail, there's a character named Big Bertha who is supposed to be based on the Big Bertha fish from Mario 3.
Yeah.
The giant one that eats you if you get in the water. Jumps out of the water
on the levels where, you have to...
Instead, this is a very rotund...
I would say buxom.
Buxom, if you will.
I will. That's much better. She's not
sassy
rotund.
black woman.
Hell yeah, dude. She
is another one of my favorite characters in this because did she even say anything?
A little bit, yeah. Okay. I mean, she tells him how to use the boots and stuff like that later on.
Right. I couldn't.
She gets all rizzed up by Mario because she ends up with the meteorite piece.
She is in a very form-fitting red
spiked
leather. It's like. It's not dress. Leather. It's like
pleather.
Yeah,
vinyl.
Vinyl.
It's very gimpy. But
it's very tight. It's got lots of buckles and lots of spikes on it, and it looks awesome.
She looks fucking fantastic.
Yeah, this character
got the meteorite
visually
piece resting between her big old boobs. It's great.
She looks great. Why she's in a Mario Brothers movie, I don't know.
Doesn't matter. Who cares? She's here, and we're glad to see her. But
yeah, she ends up getting the meteor piece necklace, and she's got it around her neck. And now Mario has decided that he's going to go put the moves on her.
Yeah, well, because they're in a club
to get it back
by this point,
right? And he and Luigi show up in these zoot suit, what would you call it? It looks like something like the Mask, the Jim Carrey movie.
Yeah, sure.
It looks like something that would be worn in that.
Yeah.
Mario.
He's all in yellow, even to the gloves.
Mario's in yellow and Luigi's in red. Yeah. I don't understand the color choices for that. Maybe that's just what they had on hand.
I bet you if you went through the movies and looked at either what their overalls turn into, like through a fire flower. I know the fire flower in the first one, it's white. But I bet you if you went through and looked up what their looks are with different power-ups, you'd find one where Mario's yellow and Luigi's red. That's just a guess, but that seems really specific.
Right. So Mario's plan here to get this meteorite piece from around her neck is just to motorboat her.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, because he starts they're dancing and he's putting the moves on and she's into it, man. She's
his so face much gets shorter in than there. Her. His head is
he's at
disappears in this fucking mound of titty.
Well, to be fair, he does try to get it off around her neck, but she keeps getting distracted and then the Koopa, the Goombas start coming in and stuff like that, so they gotta go. So he's just he's just mouth first.
And he doesn't get it. She winds up punching him and he acts like he likes it. And at that moment, she's like, oh.
Oh, okay.
Okay, this is what we are.
Well, because originally she punches him and he comes back for a second and that's when they start dancing. Because at first he is like, hey, how you doing? And she's like, get the fuck out of my way.
Right.
And he's like, no, what? And she punches him and that's when he comes, that's why they start dancing. Because she's like, oh, all right then, little man.
Right. And
can do this.
The police come to break that up.
Yeah.
And now she's going to help. Well, I say the police, the Goombas.
Yeah.
Come
the squad.
to rearrest Mario and Luigi. And so Big Bertha helps them out by showing them
the boots. The jumpy boots.
It looks like a janitor's closet that she opens.
I think it's the coat check for the club.
Okay. All right. That makes more sense.
That's my assumption.
There's a bunch of these giant boots.
Yeah. Well, because it seems to be a mode of transportation for people to get around.
Yeah, they just
hop.
Yeah, and they are powered by little bullet bill canisters. Yeah. So I mean that's cool, I guess. Why they would power boots, I don't know.
I don't know, but we're glad to see them.
They look, the Goombas should have had guns that shot these bullet bills at them.
Sure.
That would have been
then would turn corners and shit.
Right. Yeah, make it wackier. But no, they go in the boots and that's how they boost you in the air. Yeah. So that's how Mario and Luigi are able to jump as high as they jump.
Yeah.
They get suited up in work overalls.
Well, they end up going to the desert. They got to break into Koopa's castle to get Daisy. And they infiltrate. I mean, there's other shit in between. Iggy and Spike are smart now because he evolved them versus de-evolved.
Well, Koopa doesn't even have a castle.
Well, that's just...
He's got like a giant room
it's like
in the city
it's
that overlooks the whole city.
It's his tower. They call it Koopa Tower. It's very Trump Tower.
Yeah.
Like, again, this is 93. That was a big thing.
Yeah,
so,
there is a scene where they steal one of the police cars and they get in a high-speed chase, which is...
It's fine.
Look, there are two parts in this movie. One is the car chase scene, and one is the scene where they're escaping the prison on the mattress.
Yeah.
These are the most like slow chases I've ever seen. The camera can't decide if it's the speed of which they are traveling in these things varies drastically. They're either fast or they're way too slow. The camera at some points is like a POV shot of them, and it doesn't seem to be going fast enough as it should be. So yeah, there's a lot here with the directing and the editing that just doesn't work as far as like
it's a little hectic.
Conveying action scenes. But I think the action scenes here are not done well.
I don't have an issue with that. I mean, your argument, I'm not going to argue with that.
Yeah, I just, there were movies at the time that did this type of thing better. I think it could have been done better. That's my only complaint.
It's more the creative liberties they took that I actually really do like in this movie. And then the casting, for the most part, most of the characters are really enjoyable. That's what I like, rather than like the plot or the flow.
I can't think of a single character in this, because even like the characters of Iggy and Spike, right? They're just the dim-witted dipshit
and one is
sidekick.
Fisher Stevens. Like, Fisher Stevens, what are you doing?
Yeah, but I don't even hate them. I think that they're fine in this film too.
I do like that they get smart, but they're still stupid. It's like they're book smart now, but they still have no common sense.
Right. Koopa puts them in the
evolution, because they keep fucking up, and he's like, "You idiots!" Okay, now I'm taking.
He has the ability to de-evolve or evolve in this machine, so he evolves them.
Yes, to make
so they're smarter. Which why he wouldn't just make them smart to begin with?
Honestly, he really should have foreseen what happens, which is ultimately they rebel against him and join Mario and Luigi because they're like, he's a dictator. What are we doing?
They have gone out and kidnapped no less than 5 women, thinking that they are Daisy.
Yes.
By the time he came back with the second one and it wasn't Daisy, he should have evolved them.
But I mean, ultimately, they're still stupid in a lot of ways. So I like that they're not suddenly super stealthy ninja people or something like that. They have book smarts.
Yeah. Yes.
They know vocabulary words now, but they still fuck up and then just ultimately come to the conclusion of, oh, he is a dictator. Veritably, we should not do this, and then that's it.
Indubitably.
Yeah. Yes, we're a whore. So they just gotta talk at each other.
I mean, I can't really think of a single character in this movie that really irritated me. I didn't like.
Scapelli.
I mean, even they are fine. I mean, they just look like any generic mob characters from that time period.
Maybe, I guess. But no, they break in the rescue Daisy. They get their overalls, their classic, red and green.
Yep.
They get that going. Yep. They end up stuck in an elevator, and they put the Goombas into hypnosis by helping them dance, which is something that you can do to lizards. You can do this.
Yeah.
Oop, oop, oop. It's like when you rub a ferret behind its ears and it yawns and goes to sleep like almost immediately. There's little things you can do with certain kinds of creatures that actually does work.
But yeah, I mean, this has a bit where Mario and Luigi are in an elevator and the door opens and the Goombas come in. So they're hiding behind the Goombas.
And
they're out of their line of sight.
Yeah.
And the way that they get out of here is by making them dance.
Yeah, Luigi's listening to the elevator music. He's like, all right. And like putting him to the beat, and then they turn towards each other and start actually dancing, and then the head Goomba is at the next floor, and he's like, "Rah!"
Yes,
like, what's going on?
Mario and Luigi escape through the ceiling of the elevator.
Yeah, up there they go.
Yeah,
they get separated for a time. Mario escapes with the other the other ladies, including his girlfriend.
Right. Because he's the one that gets all the women from Manhattan that have been kidnapped.
Yes.
Mario's the one that gets them out.
Luigi goes for Daisy,
their cage,
and he gets them all out. But I do know that someone broke a hand or something.
Oh yeah, there were tons of accidents on set here.
Through that. Well, I didn't say that they fucked up the heating before they went into Koopa. They broke it so everything would start freezing. So that's how they can slide down the pipes. And they figured lizard people don't like the cold, which is solid reasoning.
Right.
They have been getting help this whole time from the fungus. Luigi's like, the fungus is trying to help us. And Mario's like, you're
trust the fungus.
Crazy. Yeah. So he's like, no, it's telling us where to go. And Mario just looks at him like,
we got to get out of here. What are you doing?
You've lost your damn mind. It's a mushroom, dude.
So the fungus throughout the movie keeps trying to give Luigi a bomb.
Yeah. Because when I say the fungus is all over the city, like draping, like it's not just like one mushroom.
And it's all the king.
It's
It's Daisy's father.
It's a sentient fungal body that has spread throughout.
Yes. Yeah. It's pretty gross. And then
I just don't like to think
when you see like the main part of the king that's above his
it's very
his throne. It looks like the Alien movie where the queen is like giving birth to the eggs.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
It looks like that.
Yeah. So you say that, and then I saw Futurama in my head with like the slurm queen. Just like.
Yeah, same situation. It's just like, it just looks like a little birthing tube.
It's a very testicle descendy type thing covered in KY jelly or something.
Yeah, it's pretty disgusting. But again, for this movie, it fits.
I don't care. Totally fine with it. But Daisy finds it, and Iggy and Spike are the one who tells her that that's her dad and what happened, basically, because they've decided to help the other side.
Right.
Because
they decide to help Mario and Luigi.
Yeah, it's the smarter thing to do. Yeah. So Luigi finds her, and he meets her father. And he to his credit, he is as respectful as he would be if he was actually not meeting a lump of fungus, but an actual person.
Yeah.
It's very nice to meet you,
there is a finale fight between the Mario Brothers and Koopa, which
because
they have de-evolution guns that are the Super
Scopes, hell yeah.
6 little peripheral that came with the Super Nintendo or was used on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Which was a gun that goes over your shoulder, kind of like a bazooka.
Yeah.
It was a light gun
and
to play games on the Super Nintendo.
And made them into those.
They which apparently after watching some other people talk about this movie, like they were sent there by Nintendo. That's like all Nintendo's
they
input.
Just sent them some Super Scopes. Have fun making your movie.
There you go.
And they're like, well, we should probably use these.
They had the de-evolution guns, and that's what Mario uses to shoot Koopa, which de-evolves him into a dinosaur.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's way later. Like, they start to merge the dimensions and all that, because Lena steals the piece of meteorite.
Right.
She goes and creepy effect is done really well. Because she slams the meteorite piece into the meteor, and
it like electrocutes her and shoots her across the room into the wall.
Yeah, that's why it needed to be Daisy, because it has to be someone of the royal blood. They're the only people that can like withstand the force of the meteorite. That's why they didn't just take the fucking necklace from her. They needed both. They need the piece and they need the girl.
Yeah.
She has to do it.
When it fossilizes her into the wall.
But Lena, she tries. She doesn't have the blood. Boom. But the effect is done really well.
It was. Yeah. That was probably the best effect in the movie.
Thrown backwards and sudden, like her hair is in the fossil. And she's a fossil in the wall. And then her jaw just a little bit. It's done really well.
We didn't even talk about Yoshi, really. I think you brought him up.
I like him a lot. Well, he doesn't play a huge...
He doesn't. No.
Well, Koopa stabs him because he tries to help. He is ultimately okay and he's freed and everything. But yeah, no, the dimensions merge briefly.
Yep.
Just long enough for Koopa to give his little evil speech and then de-evolve Scapelli into a monkey.
Yeah, that was a very strange moment.
And then they get the meteorite piece out, so they go back. And that's when the final showdown happens with the Super Scopes and all of that shit.
Right. Because they managed to split the dimensions again.
Yes.
Mario and Koopa disappear into Dino Hatton.
Yeah. Back where they were.
Yes, and
Toad is there with his harmonica.
And Koopa is hit with the de-evolution gun. He turns into a dinosaur that is very reminiscent of the old like kid show reboot. He looks like he would fit in.
Yeah.
In that world.
And there has been a Babam working its way the whole time now. Luigi said it for a while because that Babam walks for fucking years.
Yeah, it's walking throughout
everything.
The movie to get to this point to explode.
Yep.
And
I do like that everybody who lives in Dino Hatton that sees it, they're like, oh, fuck! You know, like there's a guy like driving the car and sees it like trundle out in front and he's like, oh, ba-bum! Like they all know the power that is held in this teeny guy.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Because he's teeny. He's like the size of a golf ball.
I think they even allude to the fact that like the Bob-Bombs are like they're a product you could just buy at a store or something. Right. They've got stores in the city everywhere that are selling products. So yes, they're all very aware of what this thing is capable of doing.
So the fungus really was trying to help them. They were trying to give him the bomb, and Luigi finally listened, and it ends up getting down, and I believe destroy. Where does it end up? Does it destroy the de-evolution machine?
Yeah.
Or does it destroy Koopa? It doesn't destroy Koopa, but yeah. So he turns into a T-Rex, kind of.
Yeah, briefly.
Koopa. Very briefly. And I do want to point it out again. He's in this like suspended kind of half circle thing, very end of Super Mario World. It's a sand
drum is what it is. It's got sand in it.
Okay.
And it's because the city is under construction.
Right.
And they have these big vats of sand hanging, and that's what he ends up falling into.
But it is reminiscent of the end of Super Mario World, the final battle with Koopa. Or with Bowser, in that big...
The clown.
We all know it. Yes, we've played it. We've beaten it. We said, haha, fuck you. And then he turns into, like, really bad lime jello.
Yep, because he's continuing to de-evolve
the whole time, yeah.
So he goes from like Dennis Hopper into this, like I said, it's CGI really monstrosity of a T-Rex.
I would say it's the worst effect of the movie.
And then winds up eventually becoming green slime.
And just splashes to the ground.
And, Mario and Luigi and Daisy run back to the portal to go back to their world, and that's when Daisy tells Luigi that she's going to stay.
She's going to stay.
Because this is where she belongs.
Yeah.
She belongs here. Her father is reverted back to the king, who is
we see
Lance Hendrickson for
after this
8 seconds of this movie.
I love that they bothered getting Lance Hendrickson. Yeah, and I love that he said yes.
Yeah, he was there that day. So that's what happened.
He showed up in the special features on the Blu-ray.
I hope he got paid $3 million for that.
I think it was great. He was like, yeah, I had Rice Krispies. I was like, can I get some Rice Krispies in my hand? Because I figured he's been fungus. So he's like full of it. He's got to cough it out. So, and to be honest, I never noticed that he even coughed stuff out until he said
it's that. It's like the only thing he does.
And I was like, oh, well, yeah, he just appears on the throne. And he's like, well...
Yeah, so when he coughs into his hand and the shit that comes out is Rice Krispies.
Yeah, because he figured he's got to clear the fungus out of his lungs, which is a terrifying thought to me. But please get it out.
Yeah, I think his only line in the movie is like, "I love those Mario Brothers." So yeah, again, I hope he got paid very handsomely for that role.
Yeah, but I kind of like that it's not a happily ever after all the way. It is more practical, and the Daisy's like, dude, I like you, but like, this is my world, my father, everything is, there's huge political upheaval going on. I got to make sure my people are okay.
Right.
And,
in true movie from this time period fashion, when Mario and Luigi get back to our dimension, it's very well known that they just saved the day, and they're watching the news, and the news reporters referring to them as the Super Mario Brothers.
And call them the Super.
Now they've got all this work because they're famous, so now everybody wants them to do their plumbing.
And they're still plumbers.
Yeah.
You could have. Well, if it was today, they would have started a podcast, and
and we're left here with a cliffhanger for a possible sequel.
They set up a sequel that would never happen.
Yeah, because Daisy comes back to their apartment. She's like, "Hey, gun. You're not gonna believe what's happening," and they're like, "Oh, yeah, we do."
You guys, big gun.
Right. She comes in there looking like Ripley from Alien.
Hell yeah, she got a better outfit, best outfit of the movie for her. But
so,
yeah.
at the end of the day, this movie, every step of the way, it missed the mark as far as an adaptation, faithful adaptation.
Well, I don't think that was ever the
kids.
intention to begin with.
Right. And this movie was a bomb.
A bomb?
It did not perform well in theaters, and that really had something to do with the fact that Jurassic Park came out a mere weeks later.
Yes, that was unfortunate.
It
did not make back its budget.
It did not. Now, I saw this movie when it was fairly new, but I can't remember if I saw it in theaters. I think I saw it in theaters with a friend of mine and like his parents. I think they took us to see this.
I'm pretty sure my dad took us.
And I immediately forgot about it when Jurassic Park was in theaters, because I saw Jurassic Park like 8 times in theaters.
Well, that's the thing. I think I saw this in theaters. I know I saw Jurassic Park. And I remember that shit.
Jurassic Park was a memorable theater experience.
93 is a bad year for anybody who wasn't Jurassic Park.
So even as a kid watching this, I was a little confused because, like I said, by this point, Super Mario World was out. Like, the idea of Mario Brothers was not lost on me. Like, at that point, there were so many games that had, each game had a different plot, of course.
Yes, but that's my thing. There is no, at least the first 4 games, right? Mario 1, Mario 2, Mario 3, Super Mario World. There's no overarching story. There's similarities in that 2 plumbers have to go and save a princess from Koopa or Bowser, whatever.
Yeah.
But the powers, and Mario 2, Peach is even a playable character. Right. So is Toad.
Well, there's a reason behind all that. We're not going to go into
I'm not going into Doki Doki. I almost said literature club. Doki Doki Panic. Very, very different. There's not continuity in Mario games. So I think even, especially as me as a kid, growing up with dark fantasy shit and no continuity.
At the time, because now there's continuity.
Well, yeah, but that's way after the fact.
Sure. No, I agree with you 100%.
There was new, weird, different shit every time. So why not this new, weird, different shit? Sure. Cool. I just didn't care as a kid.
Yeah.
But I realize I'm in the minority when it comes to this movie.
As an adaptation of Super Mario, the game, it's not. But as its own thing, it's wonderful. And I do appreciate that this movie exists. Yeah. I do appreciate that, even today watching it, because I like it more now as an adult than I did as a kid. That movie came and went. There was apparently merchandise for this movie. There was action figures and things like that I was just not even aware of when I was younger.
Dude, I would have had every bit of Toad merch possible if I knew it existed at the time.
I do remember I think it was either Taco Bell or McDonald's or something, maybe Burger King. They had cups for this movie.
Really?
Yeah, there were cups for the Super Mario.
I know McDonald's did the cup thing for a lot of them.
One of those fast food places did that with this movie, because I had a couple of those, but I think you just got that when you got a drink. So I really don't think that there were Happy Meal tie-ins with this or anything like Kids Meal.
I was much more of a McDonald's consumer in 1993 than I am now, and I would have known.
Right. So by the time Jurassic Park hit theaters, this movie was long forgotten.
Jurassic Park changed the world of every kid.
Yeah.
I don't care who you were. If you didn't like dinosaurs before, you did after.
I didn't know anybody that had this movie on VHS. I don't know anybody that rented this movie when I spent the night at their house. I do remember watching Jurassic Park on VHS many times with friends at sleepovers.
You can't compare the two. It's apples and oranges.
No, of course not. But I'm just saying, it was just unfortunate that this movie
again looked really good.
Had Super Mario Brothers come out the year before, it may have done better.
Or had Jurassic Park come out the year after.
Right, yes.
It's bad timing. Terrible timing.
It was released at the wrong time.
And this isn't the only movie that failed to make their budget back because of Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park, for those of you who weren't aware and alive, and active consumers of media in that time, I can't stress how much it changed.
Everybody wanted a piece of that Jurassic Park money.
Everybody was obsessed with dinosaurs.
I mean, we still have our Jurassic Park cups from McDonald's.
I have the Dilophosaurus, which is my favorite
Burger
dinosaur.
King had Jurassic Park watches, again, but I think that was for the second movie.
It was.
Okay.
Lost World.
But there were plenty of, kids' meals tie-ins. There were action figures.
Everything.
There were soundtracks. There were, you name it, bed sheets, curtains, everything, swimsuits, T-shirts.
Yeah. No, in fifth or sixth grade, I don't remember which one. I was in orchestra. I played the cello, and I will never forget that the Jurassic Park theme, the cellos have the melody. The cellos never fucking had the melody. I got to play the doo 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 doo. I was like, hell yeah. This is my moment.
But yes, unfortunately for Super Mario Brothers, it came out just at the wrong time.
I think if it had come out today, I think people would be cooler with it. I think if it hadn't come out the same year of Jurassic Park, I think it was too different for people to understand that it was never intended to be a faithful adaptation.
No.
In what fucking world is that a faithful adaptation? No, absolutely not. But it was never intended to be. All of the praising and glazing I've been doing, though, I do need to say that everybody says the directors were absolute, assholes.
We're going to get into that.
Oh, we are? Okay.
Yes, because the directors of this movie, it was a couple.
Yeah, it's hold on. It's married couple Ricky Morton and Annabelle Jankel, and
they
holy shit, fucking nightmares to work with.
Now these two,
from what I understand,
were the creators / directors of Max Headroom,
right,
from the 80s. That's a show
that's their claim to fame.
I remember watching that simply because my dad loved it.
I didn't know it. I know the guy. I've seen the
right. I can't remember a single fucking thing about it now.
No idea.
But I do remember Max Headroom as a character. I thought he was okay. He was everywhere for a little while.
I didn't give a shit about him one way or the other. I just am aware that he was a thing.
Right. So
that's it.
The world of Max Headroom is very reminiscent of the world of Dino Hatton.
Okay.
This is a direct result of the directors of this thing.
Okay.
And they teamed up with the set designer for Blade Runner.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of...
So why were people fucking surprised? When the people behind Max Headroom and Blade Runner in some ways came together to make a movie.
Remember, because look, at this time in my life, like my dad was picking me up on the weekends. He had visitation rights, all that thing.
Right.
My parents were divorced, and he subscribed to every kind of pop culture magazine. If it was about movies, if it was about comic books, if it was something like Wizard magazine, things like that. And I don't remember a single fucking article about this Super Mario Brothers movie. I had no idea it was coming until I saw a commercial for it on TV.
Yeah, sure.
They somehow managed to take a kid that was very aware of Super Mario Brothers.
Well, I think that's also
and make him very unaware of this movie coming.
Nintendo wasn't running ads in Nintendo Power for it. They sent him some Super Scopes and said, "Have a good day." Right. That's all they did.
Now, working with this director couple, apparently, like you had mentioned, was a nightmare for everyone involved.
Yes, it was driving people to drink.
Dennis Hopper hated him.
Yep. Bob Hoskins.
Bob Hoskins hated him. John Leguizamo hated him. There were multiple injuries on the set.
Yeah,
just due to the fact that
yes.
Bob Hoskins got his hand slammed in a door on their
someone
van.
Else broke something sliding down the mattress.
Yes. So
in the tube.
This movie is a product of no one paying attention to the production of this movie.
Yeah, well, and
Nintendo was not involved.
No.
The producers of the film they came to the set like twice.
Well, I know that the script was also forced to have almost a complete rewrite 10 days before principal photography because they were someone high up finally took a look at it and was like, "Oh no, this is too dark to be a kid's movie."
The actors went on record multiple times saying they would come into set and be handed a new script.
Yes.
Every single day.
I know Dennis Hopper famously just threw his script away in front of them and he was like, "What's the point in me? You're going to change it by the time I get there. Just fucking tell me what to say and I'll say it."
Right.
So behind the scenes making this movie was a disaster for a lot of people.
And the directors of this film, from what I understand, never did another movie. At least not any time in that near future. So yeah.
Yeah, I like a lot of people involved said that they were just impossible. to work with. Like I said, I know Bob and John, because I'm on a first name with both of them.
Yeah, right.
We're drunk a lot.
Bob is dead.
I know, R.I.P. my good friend, Bob Hoskins. Still my favorite Smee.
Dennis Hopper is also dead.
Yeah, well, he's not my bestie, but he was in Waterworld, which I also like and everyone hates.
Dude, his character of Koopa is very reminiscent of his Waterworld character.
Yes, it is.
I think he brought some of that on set.
Yeah. I guess I just like movies that people hate. I don't fucking know.
I think he's great, though. He's great with those characters.
Yes,
and he does make a decent villain.
Yes, he does.
Most of his roles that I like, in fact, I think all of them, he's the villain.
Well, he usually was.
Yeah.
He's not the romantic love interest.
Well, except in Blue Velvet.
Well, God. Well.
But he's also the fucking antagonist in that film.
Yes, he is. But no, they were drunk a lot on set just to deal with these directors.
Yeah. Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo famously would get drunk on set.
And just to get through the fucking day. And I think that's really unfortunate because obviously Bob, yes, my pal Bob is dead. And that was a sad day when he died. I was like, oh, I liked him. He was always good in things. My joy that I get from this movie, because, I saw it as a kid. I knew nothing about any of that shit. I didn't care if it was a faithful adaptation or not. No. I love that movie and I love that world. Even if it doesn't make sense completely, I don't care.
Yeah, as a kid, I had no concept
to a 9-year-old
of how movies or cartoons were made. They just existed.
Dude, I grew up, fucking Ninja Turtles cartoons didn't fucking make sense. There was most things I consumed, aside from like the dark fantasy classics of the 80s, didn't necessarily have to make fucking sense for me to enjoy them.
No, and there were tons of kids cartoons that explored other dimensions and portals and shit. So
this was right in my fucking alley. And it sucks that they will never, I'll just say John Leguizamo because he's still alive, they'll never understand the joy that I got out of it, because when they look back, they look at all the bullshit and terrible, and I understand why, but I do think it's unfortunate because I know I'm not the only person who unabashedly loves this movie.
No, not at all.
It sucks y'all went through that, but thank you anyway.
There is an entire website dedicated to archiving every little bit of information for this movie.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
Wow. They have tracked down props. They have done everything that they can.
Give me the boy.
So yes, this is not a hated film, I would say overall.
I do think
many people hate it, but as far as
people standing up for it now, which I really appreciate, because I felt like I was just me for
a
long time.
I don't know anybody in my personal life that hates this movie.
Yeah.
Even kind of growing up, and it didn't make sense to me as a kid growing up that people were like, oh, this movie's terrible. And I'm like, well, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was a fun movie. It had characters I knew in it. And that's all that really mattered. And honestly, at the end of the day, that's still all that really matters. Because
I think so.
Like most things, and I said this many times, this movie doesn't erase Super Mario Brothers from existence. This is not replacing the thing you love about Super Mario Brothers.
Nope.
It's just a weird outlier that exists.
I still to this day would rather watch this than the 2023 one, and my stance on that will never change.
Same. And this is another one of those movies that like I can literally put this on anytime and watch it.
It's fun. I watched it a lot on cable. It was one of the ones that would be on cable a lot, just randomly. I'd be like, oh, hell yeah.
Yes, this movie exists solely to entertain you for an hour and a half and give you a collectible cup at a fast food restaurant.
That being said, the directors are still twats, and I hate what they did to everybody. I hate that they made such a terrible on-set experience that it left a bad taste in the actors and everything's mouths that I actually really do like. So, fuck you for being assholes, but I still love the movie.
Yeah. I am going to do a little bit of research because I bet that there's a company out there making modern action figures of these characters.
I just want Toad.
Yeah.
Maybe Yoshi. I do like Yoshi.
If he exists. But
Toad, that's a boy right there. That's the good boy.
You got anything else to add to this?
No, other than go look at his face. If you're ever feeling down, guys, just look at his little face and you'll feel better.
Well, with that said, we can call that an episode. Jess, where can people find you?
I'm Jess Moon. I'm at JHL Moon on Instagram and Blue Sky. I do have an independent publishing house called Shadow Spark Publishing. You can find us at Shadow Spark Pub on Instagram and Blue Sky as well, shadowsparkpub.com. Today, as we're recording this, our 4th anthology was actually released. It's called Dream Caught, and it has 14 of our authors submitting short stories in the themes of nightmares or dreams. So you can go check that out. It's pretty fucking cool. And yeah, that's me.
Yeah, well, you can find me. I'm out there on Instagram at Chad J. Moon. You can follow the podcast on Instagram at The Pretty Little Podcast. We are also on Blue Sky at The Pretty Little Podcast. We've got the YouTube channel, youtube.com/at The Pretty Little Podcast 69420. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for all the interactions that we've had on social media. We are starting to gain more traction, and that's pretty exciting on our end. And we do appreciate every single one of you that listen, download, and just enjoy what we do here.
Mwah, mwah, mwah. There you go, guys.
Bye.
Bye.